The Lower Pleistocene period, spanning from about 2.6 million to 780,000 years ago, was a time of remarkable evolution and adaptation for early hominins. At the heart of this fascinating chapter are some truly intriguing figures like Homo erectus and Homo antecessor. Early in this period, around 1.8 million years ago, Homo erectus emerged and became the dominant hominin species in Africa and parts of Asia. Known for their use of more advanced tools and their ability to adapt to diverse environments, Homo erectus marked a significant step in human evolution. Homo antecessor represents one of the earliest known human species in Western Europe. Homo antecessor showed a mix of primitive and more modern traits, indicating a transitional phase in human evolution. This species was likely involved in early tool-making and social behaviors that would set the stage for future advancements. Homo antecessor offers a glimpse into human exploration of the vast landscapes of Europe during the Lower Pleistocene epoch. They were crafting rudimentary tools, navigating shifting environments, and slowly shaping the course of human history. The Homo antecessor is one of the earliest known species in Europe and provides crucial evidence of the technological and behavioral advancements that marked this era. With a mix of primitive and more advanced traits, these early humans were not just surviving but beginning to demonstrate complex behaviors. Their tools were simple yet innovative for their time, reflecting their growing cognitive abilities and adaptability. Homo antecessor fossils were first discovered at a site called Gran Dolina, located in Sierra de Atapuerca, in Burgos, northern Spain. The Sierra de Atapuerca is a small mountain range in northern Spain, located about 15 kilometers east of Burgos. It covers an area of about 25 square kilometers and has a maximum height of 1,082 meters. The Sierra is situated between two river basins, the Duero and the Ebro, and is an important natural feature connecting these regions. The area experiences both Atlantic and Mediterranean climates, which have likely contributed to its rich biodiversity, making it an attractive place for ancient human ancestors during the Pleistocene and Holocene periods. Many important archaeological and paleontological sites are found in the Sierra de Atapuerca, particularly within a system of caves formed in the limestone rocks. These fossils were found between 1994 and 1996 during archaeological excavations. The site has many layers named TD1 to TD11, with the fossils coming from one specific layer called TD6. The TD6 level has been divided into three sublevels named TD61, TD62, and TD63. The human fossils, together with more than 300 artifacts and several thousand micro and macro mammal fossil remains, come from sublevel TD62. The fossils were found to be from a time between 790,000 and 960,000 years ago, during the early Pleistocene period. Fossilized pollen suggests a Mediterranean climate in TD6, and the study of amphibians and reptiles indicates slightly warmer temperatures than today in Burgos. The human remains found in TD6 of the Gran Dolina cave are well preserved, but many are in fragments due to evidence of cannibalism. Researchers studied various features of the skulls and bones, including teeth, jaws, and the face. In trying to determine the minimum number of individuals represented in TD6, researchers faced challenges due to the extensive fragmentation of the remains. The TD6 collection includes deciduous teeth, permanent incisor germs, and complete lower incisors, suggesting the presence of both immature and adult individuals. The estimation of minimum number of individuals is preliminary, but it's notable that a high percentage of about 75% of the individuals are immature. One important fossil from the Gran Dolina site is a parietal bone from a young individual, estimated to be between 4 and 12 years old. This bone shows some primitive features similar to earlier human species like Homo ergaster and Homo erectus. The shape of the bone suggests the individual would carry these early traits into adulthood. In contrast, the facial bones from the same site show more modern features. For instance, the mid-face of one specimen resembles modern humans, with a distinct canine fossa and a specific shape of the upper jaw. These traits are similar to what we see in today's humans, but were present earlier than in most other known fossils. The mandibles from Gran Dolina are notably lighter and less robust compared to other early human fossils. They also have some primitive features but show some similarities to modern humans and Neanderthals in specific aspects, like the shape of the mandibular notch and the absence of certain bony features. The teeth of these early humans have a mix of primitive and derived traits. For example, the teeth show patterns similar to both early humans and Neanderthals, but also some unique features that differentiate them. Overall, these fossils from Gran Dolina show a mix of old and new traits. This combination of features helps scientists understand how human evolution happened, showing both primitive and modern characteristics in these early ancestors. In Europe, the earliest technological record is represented by the scarce and scattered mode 1 technology, often deriving from occasional occupations or restricted activity areas. The tools and materials found at a site do not provide a complete picture of the actual activities and technological processes that occurred there. The earliest tools have been found at a site called Cima del Elefante. People at this site used mostly simple stone flakes and some limestone pieces to make tools. These tools were created using a straightforward technique where flakes were struck off from a single direction. The site was used occasionally mainly for making tools and eating animal food. They might have done these activities either inside the cave or nearby. The tools found at the Cima del Elefante site are associated with early human species, but it's not definitively established that they were made by Homo antecessor. The site is older than the earliest known Homo antecessor fossils, which are found at Gran Dolina. At Cima del Elefante, the tools are typically linked to early hominins from around 1.2 million years ago. Later at Gran Dolina, especially in the TD6 level, the tool-making techniques became more advanced. People used various materials like chert and quartzite to make tools and employed different techniques to shape them. They created a variety of tools, and while they used many small and medium-sized ones, there were no large tools for heavy tasks. This indicates that their tool-making and usage were becoming more sophisticated and specialized. The Mode 1 technology at TD6 of Gran Dolina, Homo antecessor demonstrated adaptable tool-making by using various raw materials like small, uniform Cretaceous chert and quartz, while less carefully selecting quartzite and sandstone. They employed different core reduction strategies, such as early discarding or extensive shaping by rotating the core, depending on the material's size and quality. This flexibility and practical approach, rather than a rigid plan, suggests they adapted their techniques to the specific materials and conditions they encountered. The site was used much more intensively during the Lower Pleistocene, suggesting it was a regular home base for gathering large mammals in the cave. These included complex behaviors, including hunting, carcass transport, social cooperation, and food sharing, as well as the oldest evidence of cannibalism documented in prehistory. They mainly hunted opportunistically, as seen from the cut marks and breakage patterns on bones, which indicate they often had early access to their prey and transported intact carcasses back to their base. The choices made in transporting these carcasses were influenced by various factors, not just the weight of the animals. While some bones are missing from the fossil record due to carnivore activity, it's clear that Homo antecessor was responsible for processing the carcasses. Multiple individuals participated in hunting and transporting carcasses, showing signs of social cooperation, food sharing, and a division of tasks within the group. To understand the position of Homo antecessor in human evolution, it is worthwhile to discuss Homo heidelbergensis. The concept of Homo heidelbergensis started in 1983 with the study of a skull from Petrolona, Greece. Over time, scientists have debated whether this species originated in Africa or Western Asia, and whether it might be the common ancestor of modern humans and Neanderthals. The name Homo heidelbergensis comes from a mandible found near Heidelberg, Germany, which was dated to around 616,000 years ago. This suggests it could be the oldest known European Middle Pleistocene human. In the period between 770,000 and 126,000 years ago, Earth was buzzing with action. This period, called the Middle Pleistocene, was a pivotal era in human history. It witnessed the rise of various human species across different parts of the world. Modern humans emerged in Africa, while Neanderthals made their mark in Europe, and the Denisovans left their traces in mainland Asia. Alongside advanced species, more primitive features were seen in Homo erectus, Homo naledi, and earlier species like Homo floresiensis in Flores Island of Indonesia and Homo luzonensis in the Philippines added to the diversity. During the Middle Pleistocene, significant changes in human morphology, behavior, and technology occurred. Brain volume increased, sharp laballus tools emerged, and evidence of fire use and complex settlements reflected enhanced cognitive abilities. This era was influenced by the early to Middle Pleistocene transition marked by global climatic fluctuations impacting ecosystems, human populations, and their evolutionary trajectory. Ancient DNA studies show insights into relationships between Neanderthals, Denisovans, and modern humans. Modern humans diverged from Neanderthals around 500,000 years ago and Denisovans around 600,000 years ago. These findings illustrate diverse evolutionary paths taken by human groups over hundreds of thousands of years, highlighting the dynamic nature of human evolution worldwide. Between approximately 600,000 and 300,000 years ago, different populations of a common ancestor began to show variations, leading to the formation of distinct groups. These groups or subspecies were geographically separated but still belonged to the same ancestral species. After 300,000 years ago, new species emerged from these differentiated populations. These new species were defined based on genetic, morphological, and behavioral differences known as apomorphies. There's ongoing debate about how these speciation events occurred and the taxonomic status of many fossil specimens found in Africa and Eurasia. The most curious question is the exact identity of the last common ancestor from which modern humans, Neanderthals, and Denisovans ultimately originated. Most scholars identify Homo heidelbergensis as the last common ancestor based on fossil evidence. Homo heidelbergensis existed between approximately 900,000 and 300,000 years ago and exhibited significant variability in morphology and geography. In 1907, a jawbone was found near Heidelberg, Germany, in the sands deposited by the Neckar River. The species was named Homo heidelbergensis. Popularly known as the Mauer jaw, it was well preserved, lacking a bony chin, but with teeth similar to those of modern humans. Primitive features in the specimen suggested that Homo heidelbergensis could be distinguished from Asian and African representatives of Homo erectus. The Mauer jaw is often grouped with mandibles and partial craniums from Arago Cave in France and Petrolona in Greece. If we include the Cima de los Huesos in Spain, Additional skulls and numerous postcranial bones can be added to the species hypodyme. The Petrolona and Arago specimens also share anatomical similarities with crania from various locations, including Broken Hill, also called Kabwe cranium in Zambia, Elandsfontein in South Africa, and Bodo from the Middle Awash of Ethiopia. This suggests that Homo heidelbergensis may have inhabited both Africa and Europe. The species is considered potentially related not only to Neanderthals but also to modern humans. Anatomically, Homo heidelbergensis had a bigger brain compared to Homo erectus, averaging around 1,230 cubic centimeters. The skull relatively is taller than in Homo erectus. The front of the head is wider, the sides are high and arched like in modern humans, and the back is more rounded. The part at the back of the skull is longer than in Homo erectus. The jaw joint is similar to that of Homo sapiens, along with certain parts of the ear bone. The bony ridge above the eyes is still quite large. The front part of the head is flatter, like in Homo erectus. The overall shape is less round compared to modern humans. The face is connected to the skull in a way that emphasizes the projection of the face. The nose opening is more vertical, and the canal in the front of the upper jaw is placed more forward than in Homo erectus. The point where the two halves of the jaw meet is receding, and there's a developed internal area for the teeth. European jaws of Homo heidelbergensis also look similar to Neanderthals. Some individuals from Cima de los Usos were tall and robust, with limb bones and a pelvis suggesting possible differences in size between males and females, similar to what we see in recent populations. The classification of Homo heidelbergensis in the human family tree is a debated topic. The Mauer mandible, dating back 609,000 years, is among the oldest Middle Pleistocene fossils in Europe, aligning with findings in Bodo, Africa. Some scientists suggest replacing Homo heidelbergensis with Homo bodoensis supporters, say it clarifies Middle Pleistocene hominin classification, especially from Africa and the Eastern Mediterranean. Opponents argue against changing long-standing names, expressing concerns about confusion and potential political motivations. The evolution and classification of these Middle Pleistocene hominins is debated. One view groups populations into evolving grades within Homo sapiens, indicating a single lineage with brain and skull advancements. Alternatively, some propose cladogenesis within Homo, arguing for a unique morphology in living humans that separates them from most fossil hominins. They believe only those sharing specific features should be considered Homo sapiens. Some researchers propose two lineages. The European branch, including Neanderthals, traces back to the Middle Pleistocene through fossils like Petrolona, Arago, Cima de los Usos, and Mauer. This perspective suggests repeated speciation events. Another lineage, rooted in Africa, includes specimens like Broken Hill, Elandsfontein, and Bodo, referred to as Homo rhodesiensis. Some late members display a mix of archaic and modern features. An alternative view argues minor morphological differences in ancient European and African fossils, attributing them to geography and intragroup variation. This approach advocates classifying them under one taxon, Homo heidelbergensis, challenging distinct lineages. If the broader Homo heidelbergensis classification is accepted, it could be the ancestor to Neanderthals and modern Homo sapiens. Determining the preferred scenario depends on the strength of morphometric similarities. Notably, findings from the Petrolona cranium support Homo heidelbergensis as a widespread, polytypic species. Around 1,000 to 900,000 years ago, Earth's climate experienced glacial cycles every 100,000 years. At the beginning of the Middle Pleistocene, there was a notable change in the environment, marked by the disappearance of Villafranchian faunas leading to a decline or disappearance of human populations using Oldowan tools. After about 650,000 years ago, there was a shift in Europe. We start seeing the use of more advanced Acheulean tools associated with human remains. The tools and fossils indicate similarities with African contexts. It suggests a possible migration route from Africa to Europe through the Middle East. In West Asia, Acheulean technologies, possibly originating in Africa, appeared before 1.35 million years ago in Ubaidiyya, Israel, and from 750,000 years ago onwards in Jeshur B'nai Yaakov, Israel. This aligns with archaeological sites and human fossils in mid-low latitude regions of Africa and Europe. Fossils from Mauer in Germany and Arago Cave in France, distinct from Homo antecessor, resemble those from Turnefine in Algeria, suggesting Homo heidelbergensis spread from Africa to Eurasia, introducing Acheulean artifacts. These findings, including tools and human remains in Italy and Friuli, indicate advancement, possibly influenced by Africa through the West Asia. After reaching Europe in the Middle Pleistocene, Homo heidelbergensis adapted to harsh conditions during glacial cycles, leading to Neanderthal characteristics through genetic drift in small or isolated groups. Concurrently, Homo heidelbergensis in Africa evolved toward anatomically modern Homo sapiens. Fossils from locations like Aarhout in Morocco, Omo Kibish in Ethiopia, Hertu in the Middle Awash region, and Laetoli in Tanzania document this progression towards Homo sapiens. Scientists are debating recent findings at Cima de los Usos, challenging our understanding of Neanderthal evolution. The skulls from Cima de los Usos exhibit traits expected in early Neanderthals. Characteristics like a bony ridge above the eyes, broad nasal bones, and a distinct part at the back of the head suggest similarities to Neanderthals. Teeth from Cima de los Usos closely resemble Neanderthal teeth. Compared to other ancient skulls like Mauer or Arago, Cima de los Usos skulls appear more Neanderthal-like. Some scientists propose Cima de los Usos as the source population for Neanderthals, while Mauer and Arago represent a different group. This suggests two coexisting species during the European Middle Pleistocene, Homo heidelbergensis predating Neanderthals and early Neanderthals, challenging previous notions of human evolution complexity. Fossils across Europe hint that Neanderthal traits showed up first in the Western and Atlantic regions and spread eastward later. Genetic signals also complicate things. Mitochondrial DNA suggests a link to Denisovans, while nuclear DNA shows closer ties to Neanderthals. This makes it hard to place Cima de los Usos with Neanderthals, especially with Denisovans in the mix. Homo sapiens likely originated in Africa during the late Middle Pleistocene, potentially evolving from Homo heidelbergensis due to climate shifts. Following Homo erectus, a gap in fossil records spans 900 to 600,000 years ago, with advanced features emerging around 600,000 years ago, mainly in southeastern Africa. Further advancements, including larger brains and modern features, occurred around 300,000 years ago. Some researchers thought Homo antecessor might be the common ancestor of Neanderthals and modern humans because it has a modern-like face. However, this idea has challenges. The geographic position of the Iberian Peninsula, in the westernmost extreme of the Eurasian continent, is far away from Africa, where most believe modern humans originated. Moreover, the geological age of the TD6 level is difficult to conciliate with the fact that Neanderthals and modern humans split later than this age. Recent genetic studies suggest the split between modern humans and Neanderthals happened between 0.34 and 0.54 million years ago. Some researchers think modern-like facial features evolved independently in different places and times. Homo antecessor might not be the direct ancestor of modern humans, but rather a side branch in Western Europe. However, from a cladistic point of view, this lineage would stem out very close to the last common ancestor of Homo sapiens and Homo neanderthalensis. Another population from a nearby site called Cima dell'Elefante, dated to about 1.1 to 1.2 million years ago, might represent an earlier migration into Europe, though this is still uncertain. Studies of early human dental features suggest that no known fossil including antecessor and heidelbergensis fit the role last common ancestor of Neanderthals and modern humans. There is a possibility that the genetic estimates for the split between Neanderthals and modern humans might be too recent, and differences in dental features could have developed before these species diverged. Homo antecessor does share some traits with Neanderthals and other early hominins, but these traits might not specifically indicate a direct lineage. Instead, they may reflect common features in early human populations. Ancient DNA analysis has been tough, because ancient DNA doesn't survive well over time. Alternatively, ancient proteins found in dental enamel are helping to understand the position of antecessor. In a recent study, scientists analyzed dental enamel from two key fossil groups, Homo antecessor from Spain and Homo erectus from Georgia. Extracting proteins from the Dmanisi dentine sample only yielded a few collagen fragments, so they didn't analyze it further. However, they successfully retrieved and analyzed ancient enamel proteins from both hominin and recent human teeth. The proteins included those specific to enamel, like amelogenin and enamelin, as well as some common proteins like serum albumin and collagen. Homo antecessor is closely related to, but not part of, the group that includes Neanderthals, Denisovans, and modern humans. Homo antecessor might be a sister group to the common ancestor of these species, meaning it was closely related but separate. This aligns with other findings that Homo antecessor lived around the time when Homo sapiens and Neanderthals are thought to have diverged. It's thought that the ancestors of Neanderthals and modern humans split earlier than previously believed, and this split might have involved different populations moving into Europe. There is evidence suggesting that Eurasia played a significant role in early human evolution, with migrations into Europe occurring due to various geographic and climatic factors. The current theory suggests that modern humans originated in Africa, while Neanderthals evolved in Europe. However, some believe that early human populations might have mixed or migrated between Africa and Eurasia, particularly through the Levantine corridor, a key region connecting Africa and Eurasia. This mixing and migration could have continued until climatic changes around 1 million years ago, which might have contributed to the separation of populations and the eventual evolution of Neanderthals and modern humans.